Hey guys, welcome to our channel. My name is Tshego and I'm with Amon, and today the video promises to be good because we're doing a tour of our yard and a tour of the garden. So please come along with us, but don't forget to click like, subscribe and share with others. Alright, let's go. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I've been wanting to do the video of the yard, and today I've just found some time to do it. I'm going to start right here, which it's a mess. Yeah, so this is where we've been burning our litter. First of all, we've been separating our plant litter and just other garbage, but now we've been piling the plant litter here, and then we'd gather it and throw it in the garden as well. We're trying to do a compost, but it's not proper, so we do have to do a proper compost. And we've also just been burning rubbish in this area, and yeah, it's a little bit messy. Normally, like stuff like that doesn't burn, we gather it in a plastic bag and we pick it up and we take it to town, and we need to do that. But we also have to dig a proper hole for compost and a proper hole for trash until we burn it. And so this is where this part of the yard starts. We do have like this other space going to the gate, but this is where the house begins. You'll notice these poles going all the way this way. We've put them because we want to put a fence. We have dogs, so we want to keep the dogs within the fence this side, and that they don't roam on the other side. And we also want to get a guard dog. We want to get a big dog that can be a guard dog. So the two Jack Russells interact a lot with people and they love to play. And if we get a big dog and it gets to interact with people when they come to buy one thing or another, people come to us to buy gas in the village, and we also sell vegetables. So if the dogs interact with them, they get used to people and they are not helpful if in case we need for when we need a guard dog. I don't know if you guys noticed, but a bird just landed in the bird bath there. I don't want to get close, otherwise it will fly off. Where is it? There it is. That's so cool. Actually, the birds used to be afraid of us, but now they are just used to hovering around when we are here. So that's so cool. So now for the yard, when we first moved here, Amon was planting the lawn, and it eventually did spread. This side is even looking thicker because this is the side that he started on first, and this side it's still struggling a bit, but it's growing. So this place is really rocky. We're on top of a hill, and when we first moved here, the ground was quite rocky. Now that it's covered with lawn, you will never believe, but it's still rocky on some areas. And even the soil of it, when it rains, it can get like super slippery, and then when it dries into like hard rock. So plants don't do so well. In a lot of spaces we've tried to put manure and it has kind of softened the soil, but some spaces we haven't really gone that far with manure. So this is the first what you call it, a bed of flowers basically. And we like to mix flowers with actual plants because in winter flowers don't do so well, they die. Like I normally have a bunch of nice flowers here, they are yellow in color, and like that's what happens to them in winter. But yeah, in spring they pick up again. But that's why we mix plants and flowers, and as they grow, they also fill up some of the spaces on the ground. And so this is the bed bath. If you've seen our sink in the bathroom, it was as raw as the stone, but the stone we decided to keep it outside for the beds. And during rainy season we had planted sunflowers, and these sunflower seeds we feed them to the beds. We are wanting to get like road runners, which is like the chickens. I don't know I don't know what people call them in the West. We call them road runners, or we call them makaya chickens, which is village chickens. That's why we're planting the sunflowers. We wanted to get those. And here we have some garlic chives and spring onion. They're just now starting to grow. Some chili over there. In here, Amon planted some herbs, but they haven't really started coming out. And there's some more chives. There's some garlic in here. And yeah, so the flower bed starts from here, going that way. And in these gaps, we planted some succulents, and we hope in time they'll spread and fill these gaps. So yeah. It's so funny how a lot of our flowers are yellow, and it wasn't really by choice. We didn't plan it. It was just coincidence. And there goes the garden. And we have lavender over here. I'm crazy about lavender. Someone gave us 2 plants and we've literally multiplied it. And Amon just now picked the... Is it the last of the cherry tomatoes?
No, there's still a lot.
There's still a lot. Yeah. So anyways, and there's another yellow flower plant. And this is where the vegetable garden starts. This vegetable is called tsunga. I don't know what it is in English, but it has leaves that look exactly like Chinese cabbage outside, the leaves of the Chinese cabbage, the outside leaves, and it tastes exactly the same. So it's almost like a Chinese cabbage that doesn't make a head, basically. And then next to it, the grass is mulching. It mimics nature, like in nature, like if you enter a forest, if there's trees gathered together, they drop leaves, and then the plants that grow underneath those trees, they don't lose moisture as much because of those leaves. And so this is what you mimic with mulching, so that the plants can hold on to water longer. And we actually flood this bed only once a week, and we don't really water because it's expensive to buy water every few days in order to water. This is more chili. There's fennel here. Fennel always overgrows, and fennel, you eat the root. The root is a bit shaped like an onion. And Amon does use the leaves for garnishing whenever he's cooking. And this is rosemary. When we first brought it here, it was very beautiful, and it struggled when it got here, but now it's suddenly picked up. It's looking good. And next to rosemary, we've got some onion that's doing very well. Winter is like a good time for onion. So this is king onion, the big one, and that's the bed of it. And then we've got some potato plants. We have some in the can in the front of the house. We'll show you. And we've got some cabbage, which is looking really, really healthy. It is so huge. Let me just put my hand in comparison. The cabbage is huge. It's because we put manure here, so everything just kind of is overgrowing. And then next to the cabbage, there's chomolia, which kind of looks like kale. I haven't physically seen kale, but whenever I see it on TV or whatever, it looks like this. So I'm thinking, because we call this chomolia in this part of the world, I'm thinking maybe it's in the family of kale. So this particular plant, you plant it, and as you pick the leaves, it grows tall, and we love it because we can have it for long. So it's like a staple vegetable, particularly in Zim. In Bots we eat it, but not as much as it's eaten in Zim. And yeah, this is some beans that we planted, but we had done only a few, so it's kind of a bit useless because there are few. And we once had lettuce in this bed, but I don't know what's in here now. But we've got some eggplants here. Last week we had friends over for a braai, and these eggplants, there was one that was super huge, and I was going to record it when we harvested, but we kind of got busy with hosting and I never got the chance to record it. But they are growing quite nicely. Yeah, so we love to braai them, and we braaied them last week, and we are possibly braaiing them again today. And this is where Amon was picking up the cherry tomatoes. So In front of the house we have this cherry tomato tree where we have thrown some water that had some cherry tomato seeds, and they grew nicely. And then when Amon saw they grew, he came and planted some more, and it resulted in all of this. The plant was starting from here all the way to the fence there, but it started to die now with the winter, but we're still harvesting some tomatoes. And the blessing of it is in the village you can hardly get tomatoes, and they were overgrowing in the beginning because of manure, and we're literally using them for cooking. And Amon recently put this shade to try to do some sort of a greenhouse. Tomatoes as well, they don't do well in winter normally. Like when frost sits on them, yeah, they usually die. And so he wants to put some tomatoes in pots in here so that the dew, when the dew falls, it sits on the cloth, not on the tomatoes themselves, and then we can have them for long. But it's so funny, today's a beautiful day. Yesterday was a very, very cold and windy day, and that's how winter can be here. It's so funny because it can be like, you can have a nice warm day like today, and I love this because it's just outside my bedroom window, and in summer I just love to open the curtains and see the plants and more lavender. The succulents, I planted the succulents, my first test of my green fingers, and yeah, that mess and that was organized until Amon put the shade cloth because they were behind the cottage. But yeah, we need to we need to remove it. It's not very, I don't know, picturesque. And this cottage here was initially, let me back up, initially Amon's office. And then when it was built up, he was like, oh, it has the potential to be cute, and he wants it to be a guest house. And so we're going to, when we finish it, we'll also have a bathroom within there. Yeah, so we are still trying to brainstorm what to do about Amon's office. Currently it's carrying building material. As you can see, stuff is spilling to the outside. A little bit untidy, but that's okay. Yeah, and then we have all these trees. So when we first moved in, we didn't have trees. The land was bare. We had only the one tree in the front of the house where the first garden is at, and I remember crawling under that tree to cook our first meal when we came to draw the land on the ground. And I literally had to crawl under the tree, and we were so proud of how much it's grown. But we then planted some plants once we got the fence in. So this is like lemon, this one here is lemon, and we've got some palm trees that are still small. And this one we never come and water this side, so they are not looking very good. But the palm trees, I think the roots go deep to look for water. And I've got some aloe veras all along, which is normally for my hair, but these ones haven't been watered. They get watered by rain. And the guava tree, we have a Chinese apple tree, there's more lemon there, we've got a peach tree, yeah. And then the septic tank, yeah, because we're not connected to city council, we had to put in a septic tank. And behind there is pineapple plants, which will be watered by rain during rainy season. We've got beetroot. This has been a long bed of beetroot, but we've been picking them. And recently Amon put some new tomato trees, and he started to put grass. He wants to put it all around to kind of prevent frost, but not on top of the tomatoes, because they still need a bit of sun to come in. And yeah, we picked all this beetroot. And this is broccoli, and it's growing nicely. And we noticed this plant here, there's something that's been eating it. And then all this is spinach. And in terms of plants or vegetables, that's pretty much it, except for the ones that are in front of around the house. The septic tank, we buy water next door, and we've done plumbing in the house, so we get the water through the pipes in the taps in the house. And Amon has been getting frustrated. We had like dirt blocking one of the pipes, and water was not able to come through one of the taps in the bathroom, and he tried to sort it out, and it's been giving him a headache. It's still not sorted. And yeah, and in here was meant to be a gazebo, and Amon was now thinking it could possibly be his office. We are still playing the idea for both. Possibly a gazebo still, possibly his office. Yeah, so just for you to appreciate the size inside. Not yet. So along this wall, we're going to sort out like a cooking area, put a sink, put some, I don't know, inbuilt braai area, barbecue area. He was thinking of a pizza oven, and then all along the walls, some benches, and a little bit of a holding place for the garbage before we burn it. But yeah, he was wanting to put some benches, and then we have a coffee table in the middle, and we entertain here, but it might actually become his office. So yeah, that is it. Oh yeah, there is the flower bed over here, the last flower bed, and then over here is where we normally do braais / barbecues. We've got a lekker braai loading. We were actually expecting a visitor today. It doesn't seem like they're on their way. It's because men communicate very differently. I think if it were women, would have spoken time, but there's a specific time that he's normally visited us on a Sunday. And yeah, so we thought that he would come in at the same time. But if not, it might just be me and Amon. We've got some gigantic carrots from the garden. So these carrots are from the garden. I realized that I didn't show you where they are. But yeah, Amon always does overkill because we're just expecting one person. I was saying to him it might be too much if the person ends up not coming and it's just the two of us. And yeah. Those green beans that I today called them useless. I said that we had planted only a little bit, therefore it was kind of useless to have them. Yum. We've got the steaks. What is this? What type of meat is this, by the way? What type of meat is this? What kind of meat? T-bone and ribs. This is beef. And then we have what we call boerewors, which is really just your sausage. It's a beef sausage. And yeah. Some potatoes loading. These are not planted by us. So Amon normally pre-boils them and then he roasts them. Multitasking, we're filling the Jojo tank today. Yeah, so the Jojo tank is now over full. Amon disconnected the pipes. That's why he's watering while they're still switching off at the neighbor's house. So when they switch off, they're gonna pull this hose back to their house. And that is the, oh, it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful and big.
The last cooked veggie. This is super overkill, but we have food for tomorrow without having to cook it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess why we were discussing whether or not our visitor is coming, and we think he may not be coming, is that it's now winter, and while the sun shines outside, it's okay. But the moment the sun sets, it starts to get cold really quickly. It's nice to sit around the fire for a little bit, but not too long. That looks good. And the Brahmaster is at work. That is the lovely Sapa. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see the next videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others. Until next time, cheers.